Hello, and welcome back to Legacy of Leaders, where we interview the brightest and most interesting leaders in the community, and today is no different. I'm your host, Whitney Mincey, joined by a very special guest, Miss Tammy McClafferty from Lifework Leadership.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here today, so please, for those that have not heard about Lifework Leadership, tell us about your organization.
Yeah, so we are a global organization. So we are in 23 countries around the world.
Wow.
We have been in Jacksonville for 15 years, and we are a faith-based leadership development. So we take business leaders and professionals, put them through an 8-month training on how to take their faith into the workplace. So from legally, what are you allowed to do, to tactfully, what's appropriate.
Yeah.
And we are almost 600 strong here in the city now.
Wow.
So we have the largest faith-based networking system in the city. So
That
it's
is
pretty
incredible.
amazing.
That's incredible. And so for those that are not familiar with the organization already, what kind of things do you offer to the leaders that join?
Yeah, so every year the program launches every October. So we run October to May. We take about 40 individuals a year. So you would apply, you'd go through a interview process, and then we would hand pick 40 leaders each year that we want to go through the journey. And throughout that journey, we study the top 10 leadership characteristics of Jesus, specifically with his disciples, because what we look at is those disciples were business leaders.
Right.
They were fishermen, so we have the labor industry. They were doctors, so we have the health industry. They were politicians. They were tax collectors, so we had the business district. And through those 12 men, we now are thousands of years later, and millions of people have been presented the gospel. And so our goal is to do the same in every city. And we really want to transform leaders to transform the city. So when you finish this program, we really want to be different than other leadership developments or other just leadership conferences, because it's very action oriented. So when you finish, you have what we call a commissioning interview, where you have to say, this is my takeaway and this is what I'm going to do through my business, through my work. And it has to be something to transform the city. And then we partner you with one of our hundreds of alumni who are in that field or can help you to take that action and to transform the city. So whether it's leaving one job, going to another, or getting more involved in nonprofits, we always spotlight the nonprofits, but we want them to take action in the city.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so you're clearly very passionate about this. How did you get into this?
Good question. Indeed. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow. Really?
So it is not my background at all. I have a very academic background. So I was a teacher, I was a principal, I was a professor and a director at the university. So I had a very academic trajectory, and really just needed something different. Had been in education for a long time, and we found this job description on Indeed, and it gave me an opportunity. My husband and I are both very entrepreneurial, so we've had multiple businesses. And so this was an organization that let me teach, which is what I love to do, the things that I love the most, which is my faith and business. And so it gave me the best of everything.
What a great partnership. Yes. So what is coming up in 2024? I know you have some exciting things happening in Jacksonville. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So a couple years ago, like all nonprofits, money is always the issue. We're always fighting for that dollar.
Right.
And so being that we had some of the greatest business leaders in the city, we thought, why don't we try to start businesses in hopes that they would serve the community and then generate revenue, so we wouldn't have to ask so much. And so we launched our first, what we call redemptive entrepreneurialism, which is a business that really focuses on redeeming a particular demographic. And so we launched 5 years ago our first, which was Cup of Job, and it's down at the beach. And we partner with Beaches Rescue and Recovery. So we really wanted it to be a job placement for homeless people. And so we have employed over 15 of them.
Wow.
And have just served that community with coffee. Our motto was seek, serve, sip. We want you to seek Jesus, serve others, one sip at a time. And it exploded. It just was extremely successful on every front. And so we expanded. And then we launched a truck. We have a mobile truck that partners with Beyond 90, who works with refugees. And so that's been very successful. The truck's rentable. You can rent it. It can come out. And so just recently we partnered with Murray Hill Theater, who the owner is a Lifework alum. And we are opening our next coffee shop right next to the theater. So our launch date hopefully is June 1st, if we can get all of the occupancy permits and things done. We are hoping to kick it off on June 1st. So that's our newest endeavor, is Cup of Job in Murray Hill. And that one will specifically be working with young women who have been abused. So we are partnering with Hadassah's Hope and Girls of Virtue.
That is incredible.
So it's really
so exciting.
Really fun.
I'll have to come out to that.
Yes, come get a cup of coffee. It's really good coffee.
I absolutely will. So we're here on Legacy of Leaders. Of course, I have to ask a leadership question. As a CEO and an experienced professional, what advice would you give to upcoming leaders in the community?
You know, I think if I had to look back at myself, 30 years ago and starting in my career, I think I wish somebody would have told me that it was okay to take a risk. I think it's very hard. You get in business and you just worry about that bottom line so much that we don't take as many risks as we should. And I think if I look back at moments in my career that meant the most were when I took the biggest risks.
Yes.
When an organization that was leadership development decides to start coffee shops, it didn't make sense on paper, yet what we were able to do with that has been more than any of us could have imagined. So I think I would tell people, especially as a leader, because you're an example to others, that take the risk.
Right.
And I think being a person of faith, especially, that's faith, is when you take that risk,
Yeah,
right? And you don't know the answer. I mean, faith is what we don't know and what we hope for. And so I think part of faith is taking that risk.
Yeah.
And I think I believe that with business as well. Just take the risk.
That's great advice. And the old adage, success is on the other side of your comfort zone, or growth is on the other side of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for being here
thanks
today.
for having me. This is great.
And thank you for sharing the excellent advice to the leaders that are watching this today. If you want to learn more about Tammy and her organization, make sure you head over to dailynewsnetwork.com. All of her information will be listed there. And we will see you next time on Legacy of Leaders.